You are not going to believe this. Just when the dust started to settle, Jon Jones is back. Only weeks after he announced his retirement, Bones has officially jumped back into the USADA testing pool. We're going to unpack what this unbelievable reversal actually means for the entire heavyweight division. And you're definitely going to want to stick around to hear about Alex Pereira's latest prank that has the whole MMA world laughing. But first, the biggest story of the week, hands down, is Jon Jones really coming back to fight? Just when you think you have Jon Jones figured out, he pulls a move that reminds you he's playing a completely different game. On June 21st, 2025, it was announced that Jon Jones had retired from MMA. He vacated his heavyweight title, and it seemed like the book was finally closing on one of the most dominant and controversial careers in sports history. The endless debate about a super fight with interim champ Tom Aspinall was supposedly over, and the heavyweight division was ready to move on. But this is Jon Jones we're talking about. The book is never really closed. Barely 2 weeks after his retirement party, Jones hopped on social media with a post so casual it felt like a bomb dropping in slow motion. He tweeted, "Just re-entered the testing pool that lasted for about 2 weeks. Figured we'd keep everyone's options open." And just like that, with a handful of words, the retirement was over. The king is maybe back. This isn't just some rumor or a vague hint. Getting back into the USADA pool is a real mandatory step for any fighter planning to compete. It's a clear signal. This wasn't just a tweet, it was the first concrete move toward a comeback. And to add to the chaos, Jones has been posting training updates from his gym, talking about clearing out the spider webs and getting back to work. He's not just talking, he's training, and it looks like he means business. Recent footage even showed him squatting an incredible 525 pounds, more than double his body weight, looking as strong as ever. So the real question isn't if he's getting ready, it's why. Why the whiplash-inducing U-turn? Well, all signs seem to point to one of the wildest and most unbelievable events ever whispered about in combat sports. A UFC card on the White House lawn. Former President Donald Trump recently announced he's planning to host a massive UFC event in 2026 for America's 250th birthday. It sounds like something straight out of a movie, but the UFC has reportedly confirmed they're in talks to make it a reality. The second Trump made that announcement, the biggest names in the sport threw their hats in the ring. Conor McGregor started posting DMs with Dana White, saying he'd be honored to fight on the card. And of course, Jon Jones couldn't stay quiet. He posted a simple 5-word question on social media. Fighting at the White House. You can't ignore that timing. A historic once-in-a-lifetime event needs a historic once-in-a-lifetime fighter. And there's no bigger name, no greater talent in the history of the sport than Jon "Bones" Jones. The MMA world, as you can probably guess, is absolutely electric. Fighters like Leon Edwards are chiming in, saying it just proves Jones is the greatest of all time. His potential return completely reshuffles the deck at heavyweight. That unification bout with Tom Aspinall that fans have been screaming for is suddenly back in play. And let's not forget the planned fight against legend Stipe Miocic that got scrapped because of Jones's pectoral tear. That's also a possibility again. It's a brilliant move from Jones. He walked away, let the division breathe for a second, and then jumped back in the second the most spectacular opportunity imaginable appeared. He's always been a genius tactician inside the cage, but his career moves outside of it are just as calculated. He knows his worth, and headlining a card at the White House would be the grandest stage possible to write the last chapter of his story. But what do you think? Is this all for the White House card, or does Jones want to fight Aspinall to shut up the doubters? And who would you rather see him face? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. While you're down there, if you're enjoying this breakdown and want to keep up with all the wild stories in MMA, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications so you never miss what's next. Okay, so while Jon Jones is playing 4D chess with his legacy, let's switch gears to something a little more fun, but just as captivating. While one champ is plotting a comeback for the ages, another is building his legacy as the sport's #1 prankster. I'm talking, of course, about the light heavyweight king, Alex Pereira, and his hilarious prank war with MMA personality Nina Drama. If you follow them on social media, you've seen the videos. It's become one of the most wholesome and funny things in the sport. Pereira, a man with a stare that can freeze opponents in their tracks, completely sheds that stone-cold persona and turns into a total goofball around Nina. It all started with the legendary Chama dance. During his training camps, Pereira has been on a relentless mission to teach Nina his signature dance move. The clips are absolute gold, a stone-faced Pereira demonstrating the steps with intense seriousness, while Nina struggles to keep up, creating this perfect, awkward, and hilarious contrast. But it didn't stop at dancing. The pranks have gotten bigger. For his own birthday, Pereira set up an amazing prank on Nina at the very tire shop where he worked long before becoming a UFC champ. In a clip that went viral, Pereira pretends to fix a leaky tire, getting Nina to lean in close for a look. With a perfect poker face, he fills the tire with water and then hits it with an air compressor, blasting a completely unsuspecting Nina, who jumps up screaming as Pereira and his buddies just lose it laughing. It was a classic prank, but the location made it special. That tire shop represents Pereira's journey from humble beginnings to the top of the world. Sharing that, even as a gag, shows a side of the champ we don't often get to see. The reaction was huge, with fighters like Sean Strickland and Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira loving every second of it. These antics, the tire prank, the never-ending dance classes, the gentle toe pokes in sparring, are becoming a staple for fans. And it's a brilliant way for Pereira to build his brand and connect with people everywhere. In the cage, he's a terrifying knockout machine with rocks for hands. Outside of it, he's a fun-loving guy who just wants to have a laugh. It's this contrast that's making him such a superstar. One minute he's the scariest man in the room, the next he's giggling after soaking his friend with a water hose. It's a great reminder of the fun and friendship that happens behind the scenes in such a brutal sport. So there you have it. Two of the UFC's biggest champions are grabbing headlines for completely opposite reasons. You've got the calculated, shocking return of Jon Jones, a move that's all about legacy, ambition, and a potential fight at the White House that could change what a UFC event even is. His story is about the weight of being the GOAT and the massive stakes that come with it. Then you have Alex Pereira, the reigning champ who's winning over fans not just with his terrifying power, but with his practical jokes and infectious good humor. He's reminding us all that even at the highest levels of professional sports, there's always time for a good laugh. It's the perfect picture of the UFC today, a mix of intense, high-stakes drama and pure, unfiltered fun. But I have to ask, what are you more excited for? A legacy-defining fight for Jon Jones or seeing what prank Alex Pereira cooks up for Nina drama next? Drop your pick in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.